Energy. Here are 8 different types of energy stores: chemical, thermal, magnetic, kinetic, electrostatic, nuclear, gravitational potential energy, and elastic potential energy. Make sure that you memorize all 8 different names and think of some examples for each type. Moving on to some important definitions that we need to memorize. A system is an object or group of objects where energy transfer takes place. And in a closed system, no energy or nothing, no matter, can enter or escape. Let's look at some examples of how energy gets transferred from one store to another store. We'll start off with some food, and we know that food contains chemical energy. So let's say this example, we have 1,000 joules of chemical energy in this food. Along comes a person who then eats the food and gains the chemical energy from the food. Now this person has 1,000 joules of extra chemical energy. Out of nowhere, 2 boxes appear and the person decides to jump on them. By doing so, the person uses some of their chemical energy. And that energy gets transferred into gravitational potential energy because the person has gone higher. Now a new set of boxes, much more higher than the previous set, has appeared. The person decides to jump on those as well. By doing this, the person has used some of their chemical energy and once again transferred it into gravitational potential energy. So we can see now all the chemical energy that they gained from eating the food has now been converted into gravitational potential energy. All this jumping has made the person very tired and they're feeling quite dizzy. So they fall down. And as they fall, they begin to speed up towards the ground. As they're speeding up, that gravitational potential energy is now going to be converted into kinetic energy. And we can see that as they go lower and lower, they lose more of their gravitational potential energy and gain more kinetic energy. So just before they hit the ground, almost all the gravitational potential energy has been converted now into kinetic energy. However, once the person finally lands and crashes, that kinetic energy is going to become 0 as they have stopped moving. And that's the end of our example. Okay, let's talk about examples of how energy is transferred. So we know that energy transfer is when energy goes from one store, for example nuclear, to another store, for example thermal. But this can happen in 4 different ways, so let's memorize them. Of course, they're not all going to happen at the same time, but these are 4 possible ways that energy can get transferred. Number 1, electrically, by heating, by radiation, or mechanically, which means due to a force. Next, let's look at 3 important equations that we need to memorize for energy. The first one is for kinetic energy, the energy of moving things. Half times m, which stands for the mass of the object in kilograms, times by v squared. V is the velocity or the speed of the object in meters per second. Don't forget to square it at the end. Then for gravitational potential energy, we have m, which again is mass in kilograms, times g, which is the gravitational field strength of the planet the object is on. For example, on Earth, that will be 9.8. And finally, times that by h, which is the height or how high the object has risen. And for elastic potential energy, it's half times k, which is known as the spring constant, times by e, which is the extension in meters squared. So make sure that you memorize these 3 equations and apply them when working out different types of energy. Hey guys, if that video helped you, support our channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with your friends. And more importantly, if you still have questions, drop a post on our forum at ExamQA.com, where I will personally be there to help answer your questions. Mohammed signing out.